appeal to federal government to please look into what is happening into this flood disaster occurrences, so that Nigerians, there is hardship in this country. The little you are able to get, you do not lose it over a national disaster that everybody believes ought to have been prevented.
Okay, yeah. Now, while waiting for the federal government, are the state governments that are directly involved with this disaster, are they not supposed to start doing something? For instance, in the case of Anambra State, about 3 local governments were submerged. And so many houses and lives were lost.
Every state government works with their budget. The budget that is provided for them is the budget they ought to work with. National disasters are being controlled by the national agency. If you know very well what happens in this country, national issues is what we call in the Constitution exclusive lists. Those things that appear within the exclusive lists are handled by the federal government. We're not saying that the state government ought not to do anything, but the state governments should not be blamed if anything that is of national is within the national exclusive list. No, the Kogi state government may not have sufficient funds to take care of what the flood that is happening in Kogi. So we cannot blame them. We only need to appeal to them to please assist and they come to the rescue of the victims of the flood incident. But we do not need to appeal to the federal government. We need to call upon them to please come to the rescue because it is their exclusive mandate, right, and the duty to serve the people.
All right. Well, that is to say, you've had it, and then let us move on. Tinubu says he will advance. Yeah, let us just take this. Tinubu says he will advance President Buhari's legacies. That is the presidential candidate of APC. He said he will advance Buhari's legacies, continue from where Buhari stopped. Considering where we are and what is prevalent before us, and continue with Buhari's legacies, I also remember that about 2 weeks ago, Buhari's wife came out to apologize to Nigerians for the failure of this administration. And Tinubu says he will advance Buhari's legacies.
I have watched several clips of the presidential candidate of this, several clips. And my personal judgment is that he does not know what he's doing. It appears he is not even in Nigeria. To me, I have concluded that he does not even know where Nigeria is and where he wants to advance us to. If he wants to advance us to where he stops, that is enough to ask every Nigerian to stop him from even coming in so that he does not advance us. Dollar is now about 800 naira. So when he advances us from where we are now, he will advance us to 1,000 or 1,000 something. We expected Tinubu or all the presidential candidates, not only him, to come out and tell us how they will bring us back to where Nigeria started. not how to advance us from where we are. If any presidential candidate is talking of advancing Nigeria from the legacies of the present APC government, that means that that person is passionately appealing to Nigerians not to vote for him because he does not know where Nigeria is. Because if he should know, he will be talking about how to remedy the situation of the situation we have found ourselves and not to advancing us further. I think Mr. Candidate of APC ought to be taken into a recess office where he should be educated, advised on what to say. The other day I was watching where he said, we will make sure that we have 100 bags of trillions of barrels of oil. Whether it is true or not, but we saw his speech. I know a lot of things can happen. People can bring up pictures of people and they put the voices behind it. But the APC has not refuted it. What is 100 bags coming to do with trillions of barrels of crude oil? That means sometimes when he comes out to read whatever speech they prepared for him, they do not give him time to study what he wants to say. Nigerians are suffering. Everybody is not happy of what is happening in this country. The youths are suffering. I was watching my father in the Lord, my mentor, late TV show, saying the other day that whatever government that is coming up should take care of the youths. We are doing what we are doing today because of our sons, because of our youth, to make sure they don't suffer what we suffer. I survived the Biafra without parents, both mother, both father. I knew hunger. I saw hunger, I saw Biafra. I saw Kwashoko. Everybody's prayer is, God, give us a president that will not bring us back to what we have suffered before we got to this level. So if he is saying he's going to advance us further to from where the present government has stopped, we will ask him questions to find out whether he knows where we are now, how he wants to further us from where we are. Thank you.
All right. We are going to go on a very short break. Keep watching Living TV. We'll be back because one of our discussants just arrived. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Oh yeah, I want to know. Yes, I want to know. years after independence, we still find it hard to start. How long shall we be patient before we reach the promised land? Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way, Nigeria? Which way? Which way, Nigeria? Tell me. Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Every little thing that goes wrong, we start to blame the government. We know everything that goes wrong because we are part of the government. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way, Nigeria? Which way? Which way, Nigeria? Tell me. Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Inefficiency and indiscipline is ruining the country now. Corruption here, there, and everywhere. Inflation is soaring high. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way, Nigeria? Which way, Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh, sure, sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? We made mistakes during the oil boom, not knowing that was our doom. Some people now have everything, while many, many have nothing. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't fall. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria?
Living TV is still the program Nigeria Today. We are moving on. And from my far left, shortly before we went on break, I told you one of our guests just came in and he is joining us in this program, Nigeria Today. From my far left is Reverend Chukwuemeka Okafor. Reverend Chukwuemeka Okafor is a pastor. Just like lawyers will say they're a practicing lawyer, he is a practicing pastor here in Aba and owns a ministry of his own. Reverend Chukwuemeka Okafor, welcome to the program. All right, already you know him. Next to him, you know him, the CEO, Living TV, Film Academy, a practicing lawyer, and a philosopher, St. Moses Obunna. We're happy you're still here, St. Moses. All right, we're talking about the presidential aspirant of APC, who said he's going to advance the legacy of Buhari. And then considering where Jonathan left Nigeria, where Nigeria has seen herself today, and what Tinubu, if we combine the three, and then Tinubu says he is going to advance the legacy of this present administration. If you were to speak in your church when you hear this statement, what will you tell them, man of God?
For me, I think when something is good, we have to continue with it. But in a situation where everybody is lamenting, economically things are not going well, a lot of people are dying, we've lost a lot of things in the country, and things are not well properly done. So for you to continue with the same legacy that people don't find funny in it, to me, I felt is not worth saying. It's not something that somebody had to come out on the national TV and begin to tell Nigerians, look, we're all Nigerians. We need the best. We want the best. We want a competent leader, a leader with a vision, a leader that will move the country forward. A lot of these guys have been going out of the country, and they see how the country, some countries they've been going in, how things are. How are they going to bring these things down to us here? We want the best. I'm not a politician, I am a reverend, but we are praying for somebody who is going to move the nation forward. Somebody who has a credibility, well advanced, who knows what the people need, who can offer them exactly what they need, because we want the best.
All right, some more from what the pastor said, and we want a person that would move the country forward. And also, if you can remember what Mr. President said, he said he's going to hand a very peaceful and secure country. By next day, he's going to hand over as such. Then, are you saying that the statement credited to Tinubu, the APC presidential candidate, is not worth saying, just like Pastor said?
It's not worth saying. You see, it cannot be said to have come from a person who is just finding himself at a location without knowing where he is coming from and why he is there and where he is going to. He just had a voice saying, go forward, and he says, I will drag you forward. You see, Mr. President on his own side, he said, President, I have always been admiring. I admired him. But certain utterances that come from him makes some of us begin to wonder. Sometimes he says he will not interfere with the election. He will make sure that it is the person the Nigerians voted for that will go. And everybody applauded. On another occasion, he says he's going to sponsor APC and make sure APC wins. And the APC is talking about this with a presidential candidate who says it is his turn. That is all we think he knows, that it is his turn to govern this country. He came out openly, without anybody refuting that he sponsored the sitting president.
Yes.
And the agreement they reached was after him. He has to give to him. And the president appears, because at the time the primaries of APC was coming up, nobody in his wide sense believed that any party that wants to rescue this country, talk of the president himself, who knows what he has gone through when his own health challenges came. The nation was praying for him to survive. And now he has survived. Nobody thought, and I am not thinking, that Mr. President, whom we revere, whom we trust, whom we love, after looking back what he had gone through with his health challenge, we think of supporting a man who appears to have the same or a health challenge that is even worse than his own.
That's your personal opinion?
I'm expressing my personal, you ask my personal opinion. And I am saying, anybody who loves this country will not look at a person, will not look at a party, will not look at where you are coming from, will not look at your tribe, because we have suffered all these things. It is because of tribe, because of party, because of person that we are having these security challenges we are having today. Before, do we have what we call IDC camps?
IDP camps.
IDP camps. We never had such a thing. And when we talk about people in the IDP, we are talking about men with families who have things they were doing. Children that expected their fathers.
Are you saying that the ID camp is part of the legacies Tinubu want to?
Wants to extend. That's what we're talking about. It is the part of, because when you have not solved the problems of the IDP camps, and you talk about extension, advancing, it means you want to advance the IDP camps. You want to advance insecurity. Okay, how many Nigeria aeroplanes do we have today that can take people from Nigeria to Asai camp? What is the dollar today? What we bought 50, today my wife was telling me that the rice is now 37,000 a bag. And Tinubu is coming to tell us that he will not bring us back to 7,000, 2,000. That he wants to advance us from where we are. And in fact, by the time he takes over the country, rice may be 50,000. And it was, dollar today is about 800. And he wants to advance. Please, I think maybe we do not understand what he means by advancing us from where we are going to stop. I think he should be put on national television to tell us the meaning of his advancing us from where we are, or where we are will be when he takes over.
All right. Let us look at this. This is about our state here. A People's Democratic Party chieftain in Abia State, Dr. Samson Oji, has advised the state governor, Okezie Ikpeazu, to step down for incumbent Senator Enyine Abaribe of the All Progressive Grand Alliance because he, Ikpeazu, cannot defeat the senator. And he said it is an advice, and as a member of the PDP, asking a governor to step down for the other person, and irrespective of the fact that they are not in the same party. You have been a very senior person in the party as a publicity secretary, organizing secretary of the state, and so on. And this is coming at a time. What is
Samson Oji still in PDP?
Well,
I think the person who wrote that a PDP chieftain ought to have written a former PDP chieftain. And when you talk about Enyine Abaribe and Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu, I will tell you that in the Senate, Enyine Abaribe has performed creditably well as a representative of the Abia South
senatorial district.
In fact, there was a time he was being christened the only voice of Igbo. Because when we were threatened, when the Igbo bloc needed a man to stand for them, Enyine Abaribe did. But the question is, does it mean there is no other person who can stand? If anything happens to Enyine Abaribe today and he dies, does it mean there is no other person who can come up? No man is an island. I think that Samson Oji was trying to bring the heads of Abia South people and knock them together. In his own capacity, Okezie Ikpeazu also has performed as the only governor of Okwango, the first governor of Okwango extraction, the first governor who started some infrastructures that was never known to be built in Abia State. At least we have never seen a flyover before. That means if also he was put in the Senate, there are things he will do. So I don't think the advice of Samson Oji is what anybody can listen to. We will allow, because Samson Oji is not from Abia South.
Okay.
He's, no, if I know Samson Oji very well, he's from Abia North. He should be telling us between Oji Zokalo and Maho, who is contesting in his zone. to talk about what he wants. But when it comes to me, I am from Abia Central. So I am not also qualified to talk about Abia South. I can only talk about Abia South because I'm a PDP person.
Okay.
Then,
okay.
we should advise Samson Oji not to meddle into the affairs of Abia South people. Let them look at their two sons, Enyina Baribe and Okezi Ibazu, whom they want to vote. But if you ask me, Enyina Baribe has performed for 16 years. That place is not a perpetual, it's not an opolo. When the ovation is very loud,
it's not an inheritance.
It's not an inheritance. When the ovation is very loud, somebody can begin to think whether he should continue.
Okay, I know you are not a politician, man of God, and I'm sure you know the two persons we're talking about, the governor of the state, and Enyina Baribe, who has been the senator representing Abia South Senatorial District. And for somebody from the same political party to have said that the governor should step down, you know, such a grown-up man who knew what he's looking for, and in that advice. So what's your take on that?
Like you rightly said, I am not a politician. But to my own view, this is our country. I believe there are good things I have to offer. If I may recall back, I believe there are some politicians whom I know when I was a child, who were either military head of state and later became president. It was still the same name we've been hearing. The question I want to ask is, why is it that it's always the same people? When somebody is in power, he will stay in power for a time and also demand to come in again. You know, such kind of thing, to me, I felt it's not something done right. Just like you move into the presidency, please let me go back there. Somebody is getting old, and at the same time he's getting old, he's still clamoring for presidency. The Bible which you've been reading said, the vision is for the youth. Old men dream dreams. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
He said, old men dream dreams. Young men see vision. Are they still not young men who can do these things better? On the case of Enyina Baribe and Okezi Ibazu, in Abia State here, I've been here in Abia for a very long time, and I know how Abia is, and I know how a lot of things were kept. But today, we can enjoy some little things. The man really have tried for us here in Abia State, which if others would have tried the same way he tried, we would have said at least things would have been more better. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
And I think somebody who have done things like this in Abia State and correct some certain things, you know, there are many canals running everywhere. I know when he started, he had to start making quotas and all those things, leading to the water place and all those things. He started working. It's not easy to get all these things done this way. He really tried. If other people who are going to come will do the same thing, I think the country will continue to move forward. Enyina have been in the seat of the Senate for a very long time. And as somebody who's from this Abia State, I think if there are some things he has done, which we can also see, and he has been there, I think he can step aside for the other young man to move in. Let's see what he can do. Since he has done in Abia State something very good. That's my own view. I felt it's better for Okezi to preserve.
All right. All right. The Nigerian First Lady, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, on Tuesday said the voice of women must be heard loud and clear in 2023 political session. He said ladies have been so marginalized, and this is the time they should be given time. And St. Moses, asking you, talking about, will women be forced out maybe to contest? And those who are contesting, and then what should be done to make sure they are enthroned?
Yes, I think the women ought to show steadfastness and consistency. Not women who will shift when the pot of porridge has been placed upon them. When they are taken to the other room, when they enter into the other room, they concede to the men what they have professed to have in the open. You see, the lady Aisha Buhari is a wonder. Somebody, sometimes we don't understand whether she knows what the position of being the first lady of a president is. Excuse me. We have seen other first ladies. The first lady of Ibrahim Babangida, Mariam.
And even the last first lady, before
Peshe. We also saw Mama Peshe. We also saw Stella. They never seemed to talk about what women should do to take over power. They were talking about what should be done to women to be encouraged to come up. One time she said, the person there is not my husband. Sometimes she will tell us that the husband has no power. There are people taking over power from him. And each of these allegations, she never substantiated. And that made certain people to begin to believe that she's not the type of person somebody can put and be taken serious of. I don't think this administration of President Buhari has neglected women. No, I don't think so. There are some powerful voices that are women that have been given position. During the time of Obasanjo, we had women, names like Okonjo-Iweala, names like the other bring back our girls' fame, that are now at the World Bank. I think it was Buhari that made a woman Minister of Finance. Women are being taken care of. Buhari has taken care of women. The problem is the women that were taken care of, what did they use their position to do? There are women ministers in the cabinet of the present government. So if the First Lady is telling us that those women that were given those positions are not performing, she should tell us that they are not performing, not that the government is not taking care of them. The problem of the present president is not in knowing what to do, in not knowing what to do. It is in knowing how to go about what he knows he wants to do. If the president will take care of the insecurity that is affecting most of the women, because when you hear of a team or a people being kidnapped, the most that are worse off are not the men, it is the women, because they are the vulnerable people. They can be raped. Any condition that is put on them are conditions that any other person can begin to wonder what is happening to these women now that are being kidnapped. Each time the president does not take care of the women that are kidnapped, every other woman has an emotional damage. So if the First Lady is telling us that we are having security problem where the women are affected, we are having IDP camps where also the women are, being worse off. Prices in the market where the market women cannot be able to cannot be able to be salvaged. So these are the problems we think the first lady should go into the other room and discuss with the husband, and not coming into the public to make us feel that it appears there is problem in the other room of the president and the wife.
All right, man of God, as a pastor, and we know the Bible always talk about women submitting themselves to their husbands. You subscribed to a woman being involved in politics before talking about what Aisha said, being part, being a minister, being elected as a governor, being elected as a senator, and so on.
Well, for me, I think if we can glance back, we had to find out where we originated, a kind of, in this government. I think British has something to do with Nigeria. You know about the late Margaret that just left. She did a lot of things in Britain. And I think there are other women in this country too who have served very well. According to the Bible, women should be submissive to their husband, but that does not mean that they cannot contribute. They can highly contribute in the affairs of the nation and also in the family. If what we are talking about is whoever that will make things move, whoever that will give us what we want. I think as for me now, my wife is a doctor. And most of the things I do in the family, I carry her along. She, as a pastor, I am in the ministry. There are so many things I cannot do, but she can do better. God who brings a woman and also brings a man has a reason for bringing both of them together. He called them two, shall be together as one. So I think within the nation, there are things women can offer. We know great women like late Dora Aponere, who served this country very well, did a very good thing for the nation. We also know a great woman that is honored in the world, like Okojiwa, Chimamanda, and so on. These are great people who have done very good things to this nation, brings the name of the nation, and make it proud. So to my own decision, I think the best thing we have to do is, let's watch around and know who is competent, who can offer, who can deliver. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Just like he said when he was saying, he said the first brief of what he said we should look for somebody who is competent. Are you hearing me? Somebody who can give us exactly what we want. If it's a woman that we are aspiring that can help us within the nation, we'll do it. But that does not mean that the woman will come out and begin to insult the man. Are you hearing me? Yeah. Because they have a limit they can offer as a woman. Like I'm a pastor. The Bible says you are the one that will tell your wife to go to the pulpit, and you will go to the pulpit. So we want the best.
All right. The joint session of the interactive session of the members of Arewa Joint Committee, a statement was credited to the former Vice President of this country, Atiku Abubakar, and the PDP presidential candidate, saying that the average Datana does not need the Igbos or Yorubas to be president. PDP is your party. And when such a thing, once such statements come.
Yeah, my worry is that he has not refuted or clarified what he means by it does not
even
need.
Today, one of the spokespersons of the PDP, the director of this in PDP said, Chidoka precisely said he cannot apologize for making such statement.
Yeah, you see, because certain people in this country call themselves Jagaban and whatever that word means. But to my own layman interpretation, Jagaban should mean of to obey. When you come out, everything is there. If people like Atiku, with due respect, begins to feel that by that statement and by that language means whether Igbos vote for him or the Yorubas vote for him, that he has already won. It does not need us. That will also mean, like the president came up and said he does not have any interest in one who gave him 5% when he has not finished with the people who gave him 90. That's the same story and that's the same kind of belief. I do not, even as I am seated, believe that that is what my highly rated Abubakar said. But if that is what he said, it's very unfortunate. Igbos and the Yorubas should get up to tell him that he needs our vote. There's something I know the Bible said. If you make for yourself a graven image, in Igbo language we say, Bible has given me the power and authority. Simga yerego yikodo. Asimdi mambido kendile ligwelelu. Miye ya moto fungo mamgo kendelo walobi. Moto fungo mamgo kendela. If that is exactly what Alhaji Abubakar said, that means he has had another God outside the Igbos and the Yorubas. And our job is to begin to give him a graven image. One that is above the heaven, another one that is beneath the waters, another one that is under the waters. But I think we should demand, we the Igbos and the Yorubas should demand an apology, a retraction of that statement, because he needs us to win. If he does not need us to win, means when he wins, he does not have anything for us. That's my own little interpretation.
Okay, man of God, you are a Nigerian. Now, when we're talking about governance, it concerns everybody, both the church and so on. I also know that the Bible says we should respect those in authority. For a man who is planning to govern the whole Nigeria, not just the Northerners, to say that the Northerners don't need the Igbos, a particular section of that same country is about ruling. What do you make out of that?
I think such comment is not good for the Nigerians. In the first place, if you talk about the Igbos, let me come up a bit. When I was a child, I read that Nnamdi Azikiwe was the first governor general and also the president of this country. He was an Igbo man. And I know in those days, a lot of Igbos were being carried along, and a lot of good things came within those days. How can we live and begin to talk, keep the Igbos behind? It is not good. These were the major people who were there in so many offices, who fought for the betterment of this country. People like Azikiwe, M.I. Okpara, and so many of them in the military. We have Hiroshi and others. These are our founding fathers. Would they be happy where they are and see things the way it's going now? I think if really we are Nigerians and we want to come up with one name Nigeria, what we have to do is to come together, love each other, come with the name Nigeria, and take away what we call tribalism, and know that we are moving with the one name of the nation. How can somebody aspiring for president come out and say, you don't need this tribe, forget about Igbo, you don't need this tribe, you don't need this one? Such person, I think, is a kind of somebody who believed there is another means he's going to use to get into power, which means it's not an election. Because if you watch during the time of Obasanjo, Igbos voted for Obasanjo. You watch so many of them, time of Buhari, Igbos also voted for Buhari. Are you hearing me? So anybody coming to the nation Nigeria and begin to talk about tribalism, I'm from this tribe, I'm from this tribe, or talks about party, Because this man may be in one party, and I believe he's the person that is going to give us exactly what we want. What do we do? As Nigerians, we should vote him. We should be looking at people's face. Are you hearing me? Look at people's face. Look at what they have done. Look at who they are and what they can offer. And forget about tribe. Forget about where you come from. Forget about also your person. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Vote people for what they can offer to us. If really one come in with that name, One Nation. Everybody that is a leader who is being tribalistic, love these people and hate these people, is not worth being a leader. A leader is a person who is coming to carry everybody along. I'm the first son of my family. I must tell you, everybody in the family is not dialoguing to what I'm doing. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
But I find a place to do what? To allow everybody to be at peace and carry people along. Even in the church, I may not work in alliance with my deacon. But what happened? I had to carry everybody along because I'm the head of the church. That's the same thing. The same way it's supposed to be in a country, just like Nigeria. Anybody aspiring for presidency is supposed to carry everybody along, not to say, I don't need these people. If you say you don't need these people, it means it's a problem. It's a problem. And you are now trying to separate the country. You are not coming, it's not a quality, it's not a good word for a leader. I think somebody who makes such a comment should apologize for the nation, if it's true.
All right, before we go on, the Director of Voters Intelligence Strategy and Policy Analyst of the PDP presidential campaign, in the person of Mr. Osita Chidoka, says the party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar will not apologize for the comments made during that interview, that he will not apologize to Nigerians. That is what Chidoka is saying, that he will not apologize. What is that supposed to mean?
Not apologize, it means he will not apologize, but it means what he said. And it does not need the Igbos, does not need the Yorubas. If it does not need us, means he has also pronounced himself a tribal hate. And let me tell you, right now PDP is battling with northern presidential candidate and northern chairman
Yes.
of the party.
National chairman.
That's why they are quarreling with Wike. Wike says if the north has to take the presidential candidate, the east or the south should take the chairman. Now, a man who has taken that position that he does not need the south, whether they vote for him or not, he does not need them to become the president. Reverend, there is one dangerous verse I read in the Bible. When the king of Babylon, called upon the king of Israel to release his wives and children. No, the first demand was the fatlings of their harvest. The king of Israel says, like, he came again and said, release your wives and your best women so that there will be peace. He said, please, come home, go. He came again and says, release the cups and the plates you use
In eating and drinking.
in your temple. In your temple. He says, no. There's something he said to him. Say, let him that goes to war not boast louder than he that returns.
That's it.
It is only he that has returned from the battle that needs to boast. We in the south are appealing to Alhaji Abubakar Atiku to withdraw that statement. If he fails to withdraw it, it means he is going to war, and he is boasting louder than he that reports. If he says he will not apologize to us, so be it. We have our votes here. We will vote according to, one, our conscience. Two, according to he that accepts us. If you do not accept us, Atiku Abubakar, we will not accept you. We are not talking about party. We are not talking about tribe. We are talking about whom you are and whom you say we are. If you say we are nobody and we do not count, it's the same thing that President Muhammadu Buhari said when he won, that he has not finished taking care of those who voted 90% for him. That he will no longer, that he will not talk about those who gave him 5% or 10%. That is why the Southerners are suffering. Today, we will be conscious of he who carries us along at the time of walking, so that we will be bold to demand of our own share at the time of reaping.
Okay. Finally, man of God, don't you think that that statement will elicit hatred? Not just hatred, and the separationist spirit.
I think, for me, it's not a good statement, like I've already said. I think some of these are leaders who have, like you will talk about Atiku Abubakar, he has one time become a vice president. He has offered something to the nation, and we know what he's capable of doing. What I'm saying, if really we are to do things right, there are other people who have things in them in so many parties. If really he can come around and begin to make such statements that he doesn't need the Igbos and the Yorubas. I'm an Igbo man, and I know our fathers, our founding fathers, whom we respect because of what we've had them do in this country. We can't forget it. Even I still respect even Odube Bojuku. When I had stories of what he did in our country, we respect our fathers. We respect these people who have been in this nation, who fought daily for the nation. Then if you now come up and said you don't like the Igbos, you don't like the Yorubas, and you want us to vote you, first of all, you've started by segregating. And in that segregation, it is not one nation anymore. It's a sort of telling people stay this way and stay this way. You're not telling us how you're going to rule the nation, which is not good. I think these people should have what we call conscience. They should have a good mindset for the nation and have that attitude of calming everybody out. Have love. And also believe that what you do here in this world is what you'll be paid for. Because we can't remain here forever. I think Abubakar will not remain here forever. I here will not remain here forever. We will be remembered by our legacies. Like I mentioned Atiku is no more. But there are things he did which we can remember. So if somebody aspiring as a president is saying that he doesn't want these people, he doesn't want these people, that person to me specifically does not want being a leader.
And they say one nation, one destiny.
Yes. Doesn't want being a leader.
All right, this is where we'll be capping the camera for now, while the other programs of Living TV continues. And our viewers, I'm sure you enjoyed this program today. Keep watching Living TV. Even tomorrow we'll be coming again. Whether it's unfortunate, few callers that came in, the network could not allow it. But tomorrow, get prepared, get ready for a full packet of Nigeria Today. We'll be here tomorrow with a different set of discussants that will attend to attend to your questions, and even your contributions will be allowed. Okay, from my far left again is Reverend Chukwemeka Okafor. Reverend Chukwemeka Okafor, thank you for being part of the program. Yes. And St. Moses Obunna, thank you for being part of the program.
Thank you very much.
And our viewers, remember Living TV, you can always come and make inquiries about our Living TV club that comes up on every Saturday. There are too many things to benefit and enjoy on that Living TV club for all parents with your children. There are a lot of things, educational programs, even stand-up comedians will be there. Remember, all works and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So come around and ease yourself, laugh it out, and that hypertension will depart from you. This is me, Chinedum Adiele, signing off for now. Keep watching Living TV.